We have multiple huge updates within the Habs organization, starting with David Reinbacher's timeline officially being revealed from Pascal Vincent, and it's much sooner than we expected. We gotta dive into that. Plus, a recent contract signed in the NHL has big implications on Kent Hughes' negotiations with Jake Evans, and we'll break down how this could very much benefit the Montreal Canadiens, all coming up on this episode of Habs Digest, and we're gonna start with the Jake Evans stuff. Now, I am excited about Reinbacher. There'll be a timestamp if you want to talk about that, but there is something I gotta get into first, right? And we got to talk about a contract just signed today, and that is Sam Steele of the Dallas Stars. Now, hold on for a second. I'll get into exactly what this means. Don't you worry. But Dallas re-signed pending UFA Sam Steele to a 2-year, $2.1 million cap hit deal. 2.3 in year one, 1.9 in year two. He was on a 1-year, $1.2 million deal, pending UFA, 17 points in 53 games. You might be thinking, okay, Sam Steele. I mean, I remember him playing against Montreal, but what does it mean? Well, Sam Steele is in a way, like, they're not the exact same play style, but he's a bit of a Jake Evans kind of light in a way. And I'll show you what I mean here. So, like, Sam Steele's career numbers, look, he's 27 years old. I'll actually make this bigger for you. He's 27 years old, right? He just turned 27 as well. He has 17 points in 53 games this year. Career high, 10 goals, 28 points in 65 games back in 22-23 with the Minnesota Wild. He's one of those guys, always been a career kind of bottom six guy. He plays center with a reasonable face-off percentage. But the big thing with Sam Steele is that he plays the PK. So if we take a look here, his average time on ice on the PK has been increasing over the past few years, going from about 20 seconds in 21-22 to almost a minute per game with the Wild. Now 2 minutes a night for Dallas last year and this year, also spending time on the PK1. Where do these stats, look? What do they look familiar to, right? We got Jake Evans here. Jake Evans, again, career high 29 points, though he'll likely break that this year. 29 points, 19 points, 28, 27. Now, while Evans does play more shorthanded time on ice, 248, 3 minutes, 10 seconds, 256. Yes, he's a better penalty killer overall than Sam Steele. They play very similar styles of play. And again, if you look at Scotia's stat, by the way, it's a very small Twitter account, but go give them a follow. I follow them. They have some really great contract projections that have actually turned out to be quite good. As you can see here, the projection for Sam Steele was 2 years, 2.06, and he ended up getting 2 years, 2.1. So I'm highlighting this first because, one, it's a great account, but as you can see here, right, if you go with the 2-year cap hit, looking at these graphics, you see those numbers on the left side. Basically, the cap hit is dependent on the number of years. So for a 2-year contract with Sam Steele, would have been 2.06, and that's the most likely contract they had him at. For example, if it was a 4-year, it'd be close to 3.1. Now, what do they have to say about Jake Evans? Well, they actually have Jake Evans at a 4-year, $3.5 million cap hit. They see him being more likely, 73% chance, as having a 4-year contract. But again, the 2-year cap hit number is somewhat similar to Steele, though a little bit higher. But the big thing here is that as you look at this Sam Steele contract and you think about Jake Evans, you can't see the number there. It's 2.1. You got to think that this is a bargaining piece for Kent Hughes. They're about the same age, right? Roughly the same age. Steele's a little bit younger than Jake Evans. And look, Steele signed this 2-year deal, which I don't think Jake Evans is going to go for. He's probably going to want something a little bit longer, but this is a great bargaining chip because it's like, look, Jake Evans, you're a bit better than Sam Steele. We're willing to pay you a bit more, and we know the cap is going up. I think this is something that will bring, hopefully, the number down from some people talking in the $4.5 million range to below 4. That's my projection right now. My projection is if Jake Evans still lands with the Montreal Canadiens, it will be below $4 million a year for 3 to 4 years. So again, I don't think one contract is going to change everything in the negotiations, but it is a very interesting starting point. And when you look at the comparable contracts in the league, you look at what Jake Evans is projected to get from some people who have these models, it seems to be that this contract might be better for Montreal than we once thought. So let me know your thoughts down below. How does Sam Steele's contract affect Jake Evans, or do you think it'll even affect him at all? Because it's very interesting to me. But we got to dive into some even bigger news today. David Reinbacher. Oh boy, it's finally happening. So right now, Vincent Demouy was there watching the Laval Rocket practice today. There was no Laurent Dauphin, no Logan Mailloux. Not sure if he got hurt or what's going on. Seems like he was hurt. But David Reinbacher was there with a regular sweater, not non-contact. He was there in a regular jersey, and he says he's dangerously close to a return to play. I don't know about that phrasing. I don't like seeing the word dangerous around David Reinbacher. That's what I saw some other people saying too. However, this is really interesting, and Pascal Vincent was asked about it as well. And Pascal Vincent, head coach of the Laval Rocket, talking about Reinbacher, said he's progressing well. He seems to be in good shape, both mentally and physically. in a week or two, we should see him in the lineup. This is just huge. This is absolutely huge. I have been waiting to see David Reinbacher play all season. We have been waiting. Can you focus on me, camera? Thank you very much. It tries to focus on Maurice Richel and all these guys behind me that you can't see anyway. But Reinbacher, him returning to the ice is a huge thing for Montreal right now, because the right-hand defense spot, as we've talked about a lot on this show, is one of the biggest question marks moving forward for this team. Who's going to be their long-term? Of course, we've talked a lot about guys like Noah Dobson, who could be potential trade pieces for Montreal, but whether that's likely or not, I'll let you decide. But right now, what we know is guys like Mailloux, guys like Reinbacher are the ones who are next in line. Now, we actually heard some very interesting reports about Mailloux and how he seems to be getting scouted by a lot of other NHL teams, and there's some indications that Montreal may be willing to trade him. I won't go right into that report in today's video, maybe in the coming days, because there is an interesting thing I want to talk about on that front. But for now, Reinbacher is there in the regular red jersey, 1 or 2 weeks out. Now, this doesn't only have big implications for Montreal, we're also talking about Laval. The experience he could get is unbelievable. Of course, last year, Laval's season ended somewhat unceremoniously. Reinbacher only got 11 games with them, but this year, Laval, 45 games into their season, is the #1 seed in the entire AHL. And not just that, they're 1 point above Rochester, and they're tied with Hershey, but Hershey's played 2 more games. And Laval, like, they've been a bit beat up, right? Like, Luke Tuck is out for 8 weeks, Mailloux is out right now, and Laurent Dauphin is out. There's a bunch of guys who've been injured. And even like Owen, Beck, and Mailloux getting called up to the NHL, all this kind of stuff. Yet they're still the #1 seed. Cayden Primeau's been amazing. But what this means is that as they head into the playoffs, David Reinbacher is ready to step in. Now, I don't know if he's going to be playing like 20 minutes a night right off the bat, because, like, you know, you need time to practice, to get back with the team systems and all of this stuff. But he has the prime opportunity to step in and play a very important role as Laval is pushing towards the playoffs and hopefully a chance at the championship. They're down there. Like, they are one of the best teams in the league. Cayden Primeau, since he's been sent down, we know he's a good AHL goalie. He's proven to be like a superstar AHL goalie right now. The team is built for success, and they're still, I'm pretty sure, like top 5 youngest teams in the entire AHL. And I'm also pretty sure that most of the other teams, actually all the other teams that are around the same age as Laval or younger, are way lower in the standings. There's something special brewing in Laval, and David Reinbacher is primed to take a great position right now, step in, make an impact, and be evaluated by Montreal Canadiens brass as to what he's going to be able to do. And don't forget, coming into this season, why does it keep getting blurry? Come on, focus on me. Thank you very much. Coming into this season, David Reinbacher was projected to get some minutes with Montreal. Now, I don't think that's necessarily going to happen anymore, of course, after this major injury that he had. But looking at him now, being able to evaluate him from now to the end of the season, it's going to give us that little shot of adrenaline, that little dopamine rush of seeing Reinbacher back on the ice. And for us as fans and the team to evaluate, where does he look like he lands? Hey, you never know, like, especially with Guhle out for a while, it's like, probably out for the season, though I don't know if that was ever officially confirmed. I imagine he's out for the season. He has to be, right? Lacerated quad. But with him out, you know, there's that defense spot open. Struble, like, he's probably still with the team for a while, but we've seen Mailloux get called up. If Reinbacher has some good play down the stretch, and Montreal needs to bring a guy up to kind of fill in a spot, I don't know, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I probably am, because he needs time to get back into game shape, and throwing him right into the NHL, especially near the end of the season, is maybe not the best idea. But hey, if Montreal makes the playoffs, I don't know, that ship might have sailed, but I'm still confident. Regardless, Laval's going to make the playoffs, that's for sure, and Reinbacher's going to play a key role. We have a great chance to evaluate him, set him up well for next season. Super happy that he's ready to be back. Let us know, leave us some love for Reinbacher down below. Let us know what you think he's going to do. Do you think it's going to take him a while to get back into game shape? It seems to be the case with a lot of guys with these injuries. We've seen it with Kirby, Dach. We've seen it with Patrick Laine. We've seen it throughout the whole history of the NHL, but I'm just happy to see him back. Let me know what you guys think. That'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Thank you all so much for the support every single day. I've been your host, Josh Gosse, and I'll catch you in the next one.